Hi, I'm Guilherme, and this is my submission for the final project of CS50W. So just like any good web app, we can register for an account, but since I already have one, I'm just going to log into that real quick. Once we're logged in, we're taken to the home page, and as you can see, this is a web app for creating flashcards. So you can create flashcards, review them, add them to decks, and also make changes to them if you want to. Right here at the top, we can see all of the decks currently in our account. And by clicking on them, we can study those cards in that deck. Just like regular flashcards, they have a front side with something like a question, and then a back side with an answer of sorts. And also we can optionally add an image to those flashcards. Based on whether if you got the question at the front right or wrong, you can click on fail or pass. So pass if you got it right and fail if you got it wrong. And you would basically keep doing this until you finish studying all of the cards in the deck. We can see that progress appear at the top left. So once you're done with that, you're shown this screen and you can click on finish study to end your study session. Every study session, the number of cards that you reviewed is actually recorded and is used to plot this graph right here, where you can see the number of cards that you reviewed each day of the month, and that just gives you a little idea of how your progress is going. Also in the same screen right here, we can click on Take Test, and this feature uses the Google Gemini API to generate a number of test questions based on the contents of your cards. My idea for this web app was to go a little beyond basic CRUD operations and to have a little bit of a more interactive interface compared to those of the previous projects. So this is why I decided to add this feature so I could use, an external API and get an idea of how that works. So as you can see, we have a bunch of multiple choice questions and some answers to them. So for the first one, we have what is microbiology primarily concerned with? And we can click on the answer that we think is right, like the study of microscopic organisms. I probably can't answer any of these other ones since I don't know much about microbiology, but you can get the idea that you can generate these tests to sort of reinforce your learning or to supplement that learning. The correct answers are highlighted as green, and the wrong answers, or the wrong answer that you picked, is highlighted as red. So you can click on Finish Test right there. And obviously, you wouldn't be able to do any of this if you couldn't create decks and add cards to them. So you can click on Create Deck, and let's create something like a deck for Japanese. Flashcard apps are very frequently used by language learners. So that's another really good use case. So we can then click on Add Cards. And then, just like regular flashcards, we can add a front. So for something like Anki, which means memorization. And at the back, we could add the English definition of that word. So memorization. Click on Add Card, and that card is then added. And just add another one for good measure. Tatoeba, for example, which means example. And we can then go ahead and add those cards. Back on the home screen, we can now see that that deck has 2 cards, and just like the other deck, we can study those like normal. If we want to, we can also edit the name of the deck. So let's say you're not satisfied with Japanese, you could also rename it Nihongo. Oops. Which is the same thing, but in Japanese. And if we also don't like that deck or we don't want to use it anymore, we can also delete that. And finally, as specified by the CS50 staff, the web app is fully mobile responsive. So like here we can see that if the screen gets small enough, this navbar at the top then becomes a dock at the bottom, and all of the other pages also fully work in mobile apps. In mobile form, sorry. So yeah, that's been my submission for the final project. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the CS50 staff for making this great course available and free for everyone.